As you continue to add more and more virtual instruments to your project, your CPU power will reduce further and further until you simply cannot add any more. Depending on the speed of your system, the maximum you are allowed could be just a couple of instruments before the system is maxed out. This makes it difficult to continue working in a seamless, uninterrupted way, since you have to spend time bouncing and rendering your instruments as audio tracks in order to help ease the load on the CPU. To help work around this problem, Nuendo has implemented what is called the freeze function. It's a very convenient way to help reduce the load on your system and allow you to keep your creative flow going without being interrupted with technical issues. So let's take a closer look. The freeze function is found on every virtual instrument you have inserted in your VST instrument rack. Each instrument can activate its own freeze function as you see fit. So what exactly is the freeze function? Let's take a look. The freeze function is a command that tells Nuendo to take all the MIDI events that are on a track used for sequencing a virtual instrument and renders it as audio. Nuendo will perform this task on the MIDI track for the entire length of the song, regardless of how many events you have or where your locator markers are set. Once it becomes audio, then the virtual instrument is disabled and no longer requires any CPU power at all. You can see this as Nuendo grays out all the functions and buttons on both the virtual instrument rack and the MIDI channel that is linked to that virtual instrument. Basically, it's frozen. This also means all the MIDI events within the project editor are frozen as well. They'll all be locked from any sort of editing tasks. If you happen to change your mind later on and want to choose a different sound or make some minor tweaks, then you can unfreeze it. It then becomes real time again, and you can make your changes and refreeze it again if necessary. The cool part about the freeze function is that once the instrument is frozen and becomes audio, the audio still plays through the instrument mixer channel. This means any insert or send effects you originally have on the virtual instrument are still there in real time, in case you need to tweak those some more or you're not quite ready to commit the effects to audio as well. So, it's easy to see that using the freeze functions can actually allow you to create projects that otherwise would take an immense amount of CPU power. With proper management and knowing when to use a freeze function, you can create some of the most complex arrangements without worrying about having the latest and greatest in computer hardware.